And there we go. Good evening. Good evening. So, what are we doing? We are looking at Disney films from the 70s to the 80s, which a lot of these I've never even heard of. And I've only seen the first 5 in the list. So, let's mute that before we get us in trouble. Let's carry on and see what we got. So, we go back to 1970. 69 had The Computer Who Wore Tennis Shoes with Kurt Russell. Now, I have seen that many, many years ago. That's got Cesar Romero in it as well. Yo, mate. There's a man that loves his Disney films. If his Scarface reviews to be believed, which he's just done, so check that out. So, let's start with King of the Grizzlies. Walt Disney Presents Productions. Ernest T. Salton, American artist and author, tells the story of a mighty grizzly. And I don't recognize any of those names. Let me see on if you do. Then there's a lot of these to get through, so we'll go to the ones we know. The Boatniks, 1970. Newly assigned to duty in the Coast Guard at Newport Beach, a young ensign finds himself involved in romantic complications as well as jewel thieves, whose antics contributes to moments of hysteria and hilarity ensues, I guess. It's got Phil Silvers and Stephanie Powers. Jeff's only seen a handful. Never mind. Can you name any from 1970 to 1989 live-action Disney films, Jeff? I'll wait. Because Sunday, we are doing Condor Man, which hasn't had a proper physical media release in 40 years. Tarzan, that's not live action, and that's 90s. Oh, yeah, there you go. Nope. Yeah, this is what I found interesting, that there are so many Disney live action films that I never knew existed. Like, we got The Wild Country. See, this is the third film in 1970. A family leaves city life to take possession of a Wyoming ranch. Ron Howard's in that one, and Clint Howard. As teens, I'm guessing, or young boys. Hey, Dr. Impossible, glad you're here. You are going to be very welcome here tonight. So I'll go back to the beginning as you're here, just to see if you've seen King of the Grizzlies, The Boatniks, or Wild Country, because it was you that got me started on this with your horse thieves, etc. I didn't manage to get to see Dr. Sin because it's like 2.5 hours. But we'll get to that in a minute, I'm sure. Where do we get to? Got my hat. The Barefoot Executive. Look Who's Gone Bananas. A mailroom clerk and a chimp team up to pick TV hit shows with Kurt Russell, Harry Morgan, and Wally Cox. That rings a bell. I might have seen that one. So, what else we got? Scandalous John, 1971. A crotchety old ranch owner fights to be able to live his life the way he wants to and not the way other people and the law tell him he has to. Brian Keith. None of these are ringing, well, apart from The Barefoot Executive, none of these are ringing a bell. But $1 Million Duck should. Another Dean Jones one. Joe Flynn again. Professor Dooley takes home a duck from his research laboratory as a pet for his son, but soon finds out it lays golden eggs. Why haven't they remade any of these instead of Snow White and Latino, Snow Latino and the 7 diverse characters? Isn't Die Hard technically a Disney film now? I'll go with that one. We'll see if it's on the list, Jeff. Then you can. Where's Rob Roy? What? The Liam Neeson one, or is that a 70s Disney film? But this $1 Million Duck sounds good. Right. The Biscuit Eater. What's this? This is 1972 now. So it's about 3 films a year they were cracking out. In this touching adventure, a remake of a popular 1940s film, 2 Georgia boys team up and befriend a feral bird dog whom they train to participate in field trials. Who's in that? No one I recognize. Very weird. This one I have seen. I've seem to have seen the Kurt Russell comedies. Now you see him, now you don't. A chemistry student invents a spray that makes her wear it invisible. A crook finds out about it and plans to steal it for himself. Cesar Romero, Joe Flynn, and Kurt Russell. I think they were under contract in those days. 1950s, that's why. I started at 1970 because there's a long list. So there's Treasure Island, 1950, Robin Hood, 1950, Sweet Sword the Rose, but there it is, Rob Roy, the Highland Rogue, 1953. Michael Gough, okay. There you go, 2000 Leagues Under the Sea. But as you can see, there's a lot pre-70s. Right, where do we get to? Napoleon and Samantha. Two young children who, rather than part with an old pet lion, as you do, who was once a circus performer, go on a perilous mountain trek to stay with his reclusive friend. Is that the Michael Douglas? Jodie Foster? Let me check on that. Might kill the stream, but hang on. It is the Michael Douglas. Can't be him, and I guess. No, 1972, he wouldn't be a child, would he? No. All right, when do we get to? Run, Cougar, Run. A lot of animals in these films. In Utah, an idyllic existence of a mountain lion family is threatened when tourists bent on sport hunting cougars make their appearance. Stuart Whitman, don't recognize any of those, but well, Disney kind to that lions, cougars, and next a black leopard. Chanda, the Black Leopard of Ceylon. What's this? 1972. Yeah, what's that? Hang on, let's go back. Hang on. That. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 films in 1 year. So they're knocking them out a bit. So Chanda is a black leopard who lives near the beach of Ceylon, Sri Lanka. That's a Wayne's World joke, isn't it? Formerly Sri Lanka. Together with his mother and sister, when fishers arrive and they have to leave and move to a temple in the jungle with. Yeah, no one I know again. Dr. Impossible says. Disney made some pretty solid TV movies like Child of Glass and The Secrets of Pirates Inn. Secrets of Pirates Inn, is that anywhere near Cornwall? What's that? There's a lot of history down there. Right, Snowball Express. I'm guessing this isn't a sex comedy. When John Baxter inherits a ski resort in the Rocky Mountains, he quits his job in New York and moves west to run it, only to find his estate is in a state of total dilapidation. Dean Jones again, Harry Morgan again. Oh, yeah. So, out of the 10 so far, I've only seen about 1 or 2. Then we get The World's Greatest Athlete. A down-on-his-luck coach travels to Africa where he spots the world's greatest athlete, a white Tarzan type. The coach brings him back to the US of A to compete. John Amos. Is that the John Amos? And Jan Michael Vincent. So is that Coming to America, Die Hard 2's John Amos? It is indeed. Can't imagine what part he would play in that. Look at this. 1973. Oh, that was 1973. So these are 50 years old, these films. Much like someone else. They've all got pretty good reviews. 6, 5s. 5.7 is not bad on IMDb. So we've got Charlie and the Angel. A supernatural comedy. Charlie is a workaholic family man that finds out from an angel that his number's up and he will be dying soon. So he tries to change his ways and be a better husband and father with the time he has left. That's a bit dark for a Disney film, but that's why we're here. Island at the Top of the World was another. Hang on, helps if I click the link. The Island on Top of the World was another dark Disney title, Vikings. What year was that, Dr. Impossible? Are we going to find that in a minute? So who's that? Fred McMurray, Cloris Leachman, Kurt Russell, and Harry Morgan. Who is this? Harry Morgan. Is it the one from MASH I'm thinking of? And Dragnet? Yep, it is. And of course, they put Dragnet 87 on there. Then we've got One Little Indian. Oh, James Garner in this one. So this is 1973 again. These are all U certificates as well. So children don't need parents' authority to look at them. On the run from the cavalry, a man tries to disappear while accompanied by 2 camels and a runaway boy. His escape is made harder when he meets a widow and her daughter who may turn him in. So, yeah, Vera Miles and Pat Hingle. Commissioner Gordon himself. It's not bad. It's quite interesting. It was interesting when it said James Gardner. So we got Mustang. Pachido is a magnificent jet black stallion who epitomizes the adjective freedom. Running wild in Mexico, Pachido and his running mates are constantly being sought out and captured by someone. So this one was directed by Roy Edward Disney and has some... Wait, this is... Hello, Nos, how are you? We're promoting Uber Woke Disney. How are you? Happy birthday, Nos. Well, this is... Yeah, none of these films are being even shown on Disney Plus, I'd imagine, not alone remade. Right, another one for 73. Super Dad with Kurt Russell. I forget. Everyone thinks his career started with The Thing or Elvis. Father tries to help his daughter meet better friends, only to find his meddling backfires and finds out that his daughter's friends are the best thing for her. Joe Flynn again. Barbara Rush this time, Bob Crane. I wonder where the Herbies were. 1974, we had the first Herbie film in this list. The Living Volkswagen helps out an old lady protect her home from a corrupt developer. So yeah, I've seen that. Helen Hayes, of course. Stephanie Powers. Yeah, I didn't know Stephanie Powers is in so many Disney films. Okay. But yeah, I've definitely seen that one many, many years ago. Right, The Bears and I. Yeah, every other film has animals in it. Patrick Wayne, John Wayne's son, isn't it? Who did Sinbad. A man seeking peace and quiet finds himself father to 3 bears. To find himself, he lost himself in adventurous high country. No, can't say I've been rushing to watch these, but I probably wouldn't turn them off if they were on. Then we got The Castaway Cowboy. Yeah, still 1974. Another James Garner one. I did not know he made so many films. We're getting to the island at the top of the world there. Now that one does look familiar. Anyway, Texas Cowboy is rescued at sea by a 12-year-old boy. While he waits to return home, he decides to help out his rescuer's family. James Garner, Vera Miles, Robert Culp, and Eric Shear. There you go. Right, Island at the Top of the World, 6.2, so go on. Let's have a look. In 1907, 4 explorers discover a lost colony of Vikings in the Arctic. There you go. Thank you, Dr. Impossible. That one, I do recognize the title, but don't know if I've... Well, I don't remember how long ago I saw it. It's got Mako, it's got Donald Sinden, and David Hartman. Very interesting. So look, it was interesting. Started well, ended with me getting physically between 2 brothers who wanted to beat the crap out of each other. You know, it was an Irish birthday, was it? Where do we get to? The Strongest Man in the World. So Kurt Russell, Joe Flynn, Cesar Romero. Was he the bad guy in all Kurt Russell films? Dexter Riley and his friends accidentally discover a new chemical mixed with cereal seems to give anyone temporary superhuman strength. Now, I remember the computer who wore tennis shoes, and I remember the invisibility one. But it's been a good 30-something years since I've seen them. Dr. Impossible. The Journey of Natty Gann was directed by Jeremy Kagan, who did The Big Fix with Richard Dreyfuss. Is a worthwhile drama. Now, I know the name Natty Gann, but whether it's the Journey one I've seen. Sounds familiar. So, where are we? Escape to Witch Mountain. Oh, so we're in 75 now. Two mysterious orphan children have extraordinary powers and are chased by a scheming millionaire. But what do these kids really call home? So, Eddie Albert, Ray Milland, Donald Pleasance. Yeah, so I've seen... Yeah, so there's two of these, isn't there? Or at least two. Escape from Witch Mountain and then Return to Witch Mountain. Not... Yeah, there you go. Not, they are classics, yes. Then, of course, what was... The Rock did one, didn't he? Remade a Witch Mountain film with aliens. He was a cab driver or something, was he? I can't remember now. Right, so we get to the Apple Dumpling Gang. This looks very familiar to the Horse Thieves I watched the other day. So, three orphan children strike gold in 1878, California, with Bill Bixby of the Incredible Hulk, Don Knotts, and Tim Conway. Susan Clark as well. That sounds familiar. This was one of my favorites. One of our dinosaurs is missing. So, a suspected Western spy steals a secret microfilm from China and hides it in the skeleton of a museum dinosaur, prompting a frantic search from it by various interested parties. And a lot of those were... I think it's like nannies with the kiddies. And then they got the Chinese where Peter Ustinov in Yellowface, I believe, is trying to find this microfilm. And yeah, of course, they all have to steal the dinosaur bones in one piece. Probably but quite terrible now, but I remember loving that one. I saw it a lot. The Rock one was interesting to say something. Okay. I won't hold my breath for a sequel on that one. Right, where are we? 1975. Ride a Wild Pony. Something familiar about this. A young teenage boy in Australia finds himself at odds with a crippled teenage girl over the ownership of a beloved pony. Okay. Michael Craig, John Million. No, nothing's sticking out there. So, what's next? We're into 1976. David Niven, Darren McGavin, Don Knotts. Why have I heard of this? No Deposit, No Return. The Big Heist. During school break, two kids are set to stay at their rich grandpa's, but would rather join their mothers overseas. So, in need of plane ticket cash, they convince two petty criminals to fake kidnap them for a ransom they could all share. Well, that's not being remade anytime soon, is it? Hello, Sophie. Nice to see you again. Almost within 24 hours. Thanks for stopping by. Have you seen any of these so far, Sophie? You might have seen the Rock Witch Mountain one, but I wonder if... Yeah. I'm guessing that's still under Disney. Jim Dale did a rather nice comedy western for Disney called Hot Feet, Cold Lead. Dale left Britain for California and never came back. With this weather, I don't blame him. Yeah, I guess. Would that be after his carry-on tenure? Although he came back for Columbus. Right, what we got? So this is where we start getting skeletons on the front of covers. Treasure of Matacumbe. In 1869, Kentucky, a young boy and his friends set out to find a treasure chest hidden by the late father in the Florida Everglades during the Civil War. Robert Foxworth, Joan Harkett, Peter Ustinov, and Vic Morrow. Okay. Yeah, some of these are very high rated for. I saw Return to the Oz in the thumbnail and shuddered. Yes, I've never even seen the film fully, and I still don't like it. But keep it clean, Noss. But yeah, because who is it? Damn, it's the girl from The Craft, isn't it? That's the young Dorothy in that. Right, so where do we get to? Gus, 1976. The inept California Atoms, floundering in the cellar of the National Football League, welcome the team's newest member, a mule capable of place-kicking a football 100 yards with deadly accuracy. So you got Ed Asner, Don Knotts again. Take a shot every time I say Don Knotts. Gary Grimes and Tim Conway. Well, if that's not worth watching, I don't know what is. But I'm guessing they put a football helmet. Oh, I didn't look too closely at that picture, obviously. Naughty key rings. So yeah, anyone wants a naughty key ring, check out Sophie. Disgusting. I'm offended. Right. This one I do know. Shaggy DA. So this is Dean Jones again. Tim Conway. A lawyer makes an interesting discovery that could affect his chances of getting elected to office. That is putting it mildly. So doesn't he become a dog, as far as I can remember? Yes, clean. This is a Disney stream. Do they not go together? Because no, so Chevy Chase did "Oh Heavenly Dog," which I sometimes confuse the Shaggy DA with. There you go. Here's the original Freaky Friday. A mother and daughter find their personalities switch and have to live out each other's lives on one strange Friday. So it's Barbara Harris, Jodie Foster, John Astin, and Patsy Kelly. Some of these names ring a bell, especially Jodie Foster and John Astin, of course. He was Gourmet, wasn't he? In the Adam Sandler TV series. Right, we're only on 1977. Didn't realise there was this many films. So, a bear cub and a raccoon become fast friends when they are swept away down a river away from their families. Aww. And then we got one actor, Maeve Nutter. Is that a joke? I'm guessing it's just like Homeward Bound, where the animals do all the acting. So, here we go, another Herbie film. So, within a couple of years, more Dean Jones, more Don Knotts. Where's Herbie this time? Oh, I remember Monte Carlo one many, many years ago. Herbie, the Volkswagen Beetle, not the living car this time, with a mind of its own, is racing in the Monte Carlo rally. Unbeknownst to Herbie's driver, thieves have hidden a cache of stolen diamonds in Herbie's gas tank and are now trying to get them back. Freaky Friday, that's not says, and The Parent Trap were both great films with great remakes. That is true. They didn't mess those up. You are sweet and innocent, are you, Sophie? This one rings a bell. Candle Shoe. No, I did find this to watch. Oh, more David Niven, more Jodie Foster, more Helen Hayes, more Leo McKern. So yeah, definitely a lot of people worked for Disney. So welcome to Candle Shoe, a stately English manor where a swashbuckling parent heir a fortune was Spanish doubloons centuries ago. And that's what a young orphan Casey and the sly conmen are determined to find. That's it. Yeah. I could. Yeah, her of Waterboy and Craft. Fairuza Bulk, I believe. Yeah, it looks right to me. Thanks, Dr. Apostle. Yes, of course you are, Sophie. He's a nun, remember that. Yeah, with obviously pornographic keyrings. Right, so here we go. Return to Witch Mountain. I thought so. This is the one with Christopher Lee and Betty Davis. Tia and Tony visit Los Angeles. I guess that's a spoiler for the first film. But he's quickly kidnapped by an evil scientist, leaving her to desperately search for him. So yeah, I've definitely seen that one. I remember the Christopher Lee one. So vaguely remember Candle Shoe. Was it set in the UK? Right, here we go. Another one. Where are we? 1978. Upcoming Hard Lead and Cold Feet. Right, so where are we? 3 scientists help an alien feline stranded on Earth to repair its damaged spacecraft in order to return home, and their efforts are hampered by inept army officials and foreign spies. Harry Morgan again. Oh, that's why I remember it. Roddy McDowell's in it. So Ken Barry and Sandy Duncan. Now, the Cat from Outer Space. Is that the one that had the collar that had gems on it that used to light up and spin around, and it could do telekinesis and such? Right, here we go. 1978, Hot Lead and Cold Feet. The saga of the Old West involves twin brothers who compete for the possession of a rickety cow town founded by their father, while a crooked mayor tries to put an end to the competitors so he can inherit the town himself. So yeah, Darren McGowan again, Jim Dale, Don Knotts, Karen Valentine. Seem to be different ladies in most of these, but Always the same guys. So there we go. Hang on, let's check. That's the Jim Dale one. All right. So where are we? Hill's Angels, not to be confused with Benny Hill. 1979, a new preacher in town joins forces with an unlikely group of crime fighters, 6 dedicated church ladies who are ready but not necessarily equipped to help. And that's got Edward Herman from Lost Boys, Barbara Harris, Susan Clark, and Karen Valentine, who was in Hot Lead and Cold Feet a minute ago. So this is 1979. It's got 6.7, so that's doing quite well. No, I didn't pick up that Rocky vinyl because I've already got it. But yeah, charity shops have obviously been Googling it on eBay. But if anyone wanted it for £7, I would pick it up for them. Return to Oz was filmed partly on the plains of the Wiltshire Downs. Disney constructed a mini town with some shots done in Surrey. Okay, I did not know that. Makes sense, I guess. As such, Aliens was filmed in London as well. Right, this is one of my favorites. The Spaceman and King Arthur from 1979. An astronaut and his android double travel back to the time of King Arthur. So it's got Dennis Dugan, who went on to be a director, Jim Hale, Ron Moody, and Kenneth Moore. So yeah, that is... Well, actually, it's called The Spaceman and King Arthur here, but it's called Unidentified Flying Oddball in America. And then it's quite good. I do enjoy that one. There we go. The Black Hole, 1979. That's got John Barry soundtrack. Very dark film. Research vessel finds a missing ship commanded by a mysterious scientist on the edge of the black hole. So yeah, Maximilian Rochelle, Anthony Perkins, Robert Forster, and Joseph Bottoms, among others. But that what's it called? That robot with the spinning blades that kills a guy in a Disney film. And that's an A certificate. So what is that? Is that 15? Or is it equal to a PG now? Very scary, that. And then the guy ends up inside the robot at the end. Spoilers. So yeah, the late 70s. Where are we? Where it starts. The Black Hole is pretty much the start of it. Then Midnight Madness. So we're into the 80s. 1980. Leon picks college students participate in his all-night scavenger hunt. 5 teams receive clues to solve, leading them to next clue to solve hidden site in the city. David Norton, Deborah Klinger, Joe Keeney, and David Damas. So there's something different there. But here we go. The Watcher in the Woods. That's another one that used to scare me. Another Bette Davis film for Disney. When a family moves into a country home, young girls experience strange happenings that have a link to the occult events of years past. So yeah, Bette Davis, Lynn Holly Johnson, Kyle Richards, and Carol Baker. Is that Kyle Richards from Halloween? Or am I thinking of someone else? Oh, no. Yep, it's Halloween. So there we go. Definitely one. Surprised they haven't remade. Herbie Goes Bananas, 1980. Was that the last one? The adorable little BMW helps his owners break up a counterfeit ring in Mexico. That's got Charles Martin Smith from The Untouchables. I mean, he was a director as well. Stephen W. Burns, John Vernon. Here's he, the mayor. Cloris Leachman, or Brow Bushner. Now, this one, another one that rings a bell. The Last Flight of Noah's Ark. Is that one you mentioned before, Dr. Impossible? 1980. Elliot Gould. Genevieve Boulard. Ricky Schroeder. Okay, Vincent Gardenia. When a plane carrying various animals makes a forced landing on a desert island, the only chance to escape is to convert the plane into a boat. See? We're missing these adventure films these days, aren't we? Now we get to Popeye, of course. I thought that was Disney. I got it upstairs on VHS. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, directed by Robert Altman, and it's like 2.5 hours long, isn't it? The first film to star Ron Williams after his success in Rick and Morty, it says. Just there. I don't think that's true. The Adventures of the Famous Sailor Man and his friends in the seaside town of Sweet Haven. It does have lovely sets and such, but That's all I remember of it. But Shelley Duvall, was that the second film of 80 with Shining? Now, this one I did see recently, The Devil and Max Devlin. So Max, a dead, corrupt businessman, makes a Faustian pact with Satan's henchmen to drive 3 people to hell in exchange for a longer life. Soon Max realizes there's still maybe some good in him. So yeah, it's got Bill Cosby as the devil, or the Satan's henchman, and Elliot Gould with Susan Ansbach and Adam Rich. Oh dear. Good evening, Michael. Can't be in the touch along in a Backstreet Scouts drinking pit. Well, thanks for saying hi anyway. So yeah, I think you're live Sunday night. So Dr. Possible says the McVitie's directed quite a few Disney films throughout the 50s, 60s, and 70s. At one time, it was a toss-up between Robert Stevenson and the McVitie's. Thank you. I didn't really check on the directors, but I had a quick look. But I didn't. Oh, well, talking of which, Amy by Vincent McVitie. A woman leaves her husband after the death of her child to teach deaf children how to speak. Her own child was deaf, and although she has no formal training, she successfully teaches one boy. And it's got Jenny Agutter, Barry Newman, Kathleen Nolan, Chris Robinson. So yeah, I would say there's a lot of dark stories here that you wouldn't think were Disney-friendly, family-friendly ones. Hello, Echo. How are you, sir? Well, good afternoon, anyway. You could be resting right now. Oh, I'll be resting soon enough. Yes, Rob's vintage video will be live at, what was it, midnight? Way past my bedtime this time. Evening, Mike. Lollop Popeye, yes. Rick and Morty. Dragon's there. Here we go. A young wizard apprentice is sent to kill a dragon which has been devouring girls from a nearby kingdom. Peter McNichol, bless him, from Ghostbusters 2. Ralph Richardson. Caitlin Clark. Oh, some notes here. The film is considered revolutionary for its special effects. It displayed featuring one of the greatest dragons in film. Dragonheart was the one I'm trying to think of. Yeah, similar process. Here we go. Come on, Condom Man. So this is tomorrow's. No, Sundays. Keep forgetting it's not Saturday. Sunday's watch party. The very James Bondish, where cartoonist Woody becomes a superhero he draws, using his gadgets to help Soviet spies defect to the West. Well, it does help that Soviet spy looks like Barbara Carrera, with Oliver Reed as the Russian bad guy. It was quite entertaining, I must admit. Right. Night Crossing, 1982 now. True tale about 2 men planning an escape from communist East Germany in a hot air balloon, but only if they can take their families with them. With John Hurt, Jane Alexander, Doug McKeon, and Keith McKeon. So yeah, this is another one you think, I've never heard of it. And why would Disney be making films like this? It's a 6.5, so it's done very well. Oh, there's Tron, of course. You see, this is it. Is it Dragon's Den or is it Dragonheart? I know Dragonheart had at least 2 or 3 sequels, but I don't know if Dragon Slayer or if they were even Disney's, if they were sequels. So everyone knows Tron with Jeff Bridges. I think we get our 3rd one soon. Right, this one I don't know. Tech, 1982. After their mother dies and their father leaves them, teenage brothers Tex and Mason McCormick struggle to make it on their own. With Matt Dillon, Meg Tilly, Bill McKinney, and Jim Metzler. 6.4. So yeah, a lot of drama in these ones, wasn't there? Trenchcoat. 1983 now. A bit less each year. An aspiring mystery writer becomes accidentally involved in an international plot about during a 2-week stay in Malta with Margaret Kidder, Robert Hayes, David Suchet, and someone else. but that sounds good. Let's check that one out if I can find it. Now, I did see this one recently. Something Wicked This Way Comes. It's just had its Blu-ray released, so it's going to be 40 years anniversary. It's small town America, a diabolical circus, and its demonic proprietor prey on the townsfolk with Jason Robards, Jonathan Pryce, and Diane Ladd. Yeah, Jonathan Pryce is the bad guy. I think this is one of his first roles. And it's another quite dark fantasy thriller. I don't think any, because yeah, some Stephen King type stuff happens to people in that one. Right, where are we? Never Cry Wolf, 1983. A government researcher sent to research the menace of wolves in the north learns about the true beneficial and positive nature of the species. Charles Mark Smith again. Brian Dennehy. Yeah. 7.5. That's very high. Dragon Slayer only had one release for the cinema in 1981. Thank you, Dr. Impossible. Hang on, let me just go back up again. Let's have a look. Have a look at that. There he is. Another classic. Filmed in Scotland. Didn't do well. Yeah. No, nothing else. Right, where do we get to? Return to Oz. There we go. Not the Scissor Sisters song, but a very scary film. Because Dorothy, say from Psychiatric Experiment by a Mysterious Girl, is somehow called back to Oz, which when a vain witch and the gnome king destroy everything that makes the magical land beautiful. So there's Fairuza Bulk, Jean Marsh, Piper Laurie, Nicole Williamson. Maybe one day I should give it a proper good run. Ah, there we go. There's the Journey of Natty Gann. Now that looks familiar. Especially maybe the trailer more than anything. So it's in the 1930s. A tomboy runs away from her guardian to join her single father who is 2,000 miles away, where he has found work. I've got John Cusack, Jed, Ray Wise, and starring Meredith Salinger. 7. That's rated very high. Should be a good one. Right, we're halfway through the 80s now. We'll see how far we get. One Magic Christmas. An angel must show her mother the true meaning of Christmas. It's not just presents and materialistic things, but the people she cares about. Mary Steenburgen, Harry Dean Stanton, Arthur Hill. So yeah, it's only about 10% of these I've actually heard, and about 5% I've actually seen. Here we go, Dr. Impossible. The 4K Paramount put out for Dragon Slayer is a stunning transfer. It's just a shame it's only for the US market. Oh, so Paramount put out. Okay. Here we go. This one. Everyone should know this one. Flight of the Navigator 1986. So Walt Disney Presents, not production. Good evening, Heroic Waffles. Thanks for joining us. A bit different from your recent pickups of Spitting on Graves. But some of this is quite dark. Flight of the Navigator, though, is a good fun time. In 1978, a boy travels 8 years into the future and he has an adventure with an intelligent, wisecracking alien spaceship. So Joey Kramer, who was in Runaway with Tom Selleck. Paul Rubens, of course, doing the voice of the spaceship. And Cliff Young and Veronica Cartwright as his parents. I saw that in the cinema. No, I've always loved that film. But my son wouldn't watch it. It's too slow. Benji films. Is this the first one we got? 1987? I thought, unless Disney bought out the rights for that. Benji is left in the wilderness after an accident. Can he survive? Who's in that? Red, Stiegel, Franken, Ben Jean, Nancy Francis. Don't know any of those. It's got a good rating though. Looks like he comes across some mountain lion and wolves. So return to Snowy River. So I remember the Snowy River films coming out, but maybe Disney owned the rights to the sequel. I thought they were Australian dramas, but young Jim Craig returns to his home in Australia, there you go, high country, and finds that things are not as he left them. His girlfriend Jessica is being pursued by another man, and her father, Harrison, doesn't want him back in her life. Okay. So we've got Tom Burleson, Sigrid Thornton, Brian Dennehy, and Nicholas Eady. And then we get back to the fun films. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. That was 1989, was it? I thought it was later than that. But a scientist, father of a teenage girl boy, accidentally shrinks his two and the two neighborhood teens to the size of insects. Now the teens must fight diminutive dangers as the father searches for them. So directed by Joe Johnston. What do you do? Rocketeer, Jurassic Park 3, and Captain America: The First Avenger. So this is, let's have a look. Yeah, made 130 million. This must be Disney's biggest. Yeah, because Flight of the Navigator didn't make a big hit, only 18 million. And going back, this is another period in Disney's life when nothing was making money apart from even the animations. Because 89 was their best year then, because we've got Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and The Little Mermaid. Because there are other animated fare like Oliver and Co. and what's the other one? The Black Cauldron failed to make a dent. And what's the other one? Basil the Great Master Detective, which I love, but that's only because it's about Sherlock Holmes. Ben Grimm, how are you? Mr. Boogedy was good. Oh, what year was that? What year was that, Ben? We haven't come across that one yet. Is that a Disney film? Or Disney live action? And then, of course, straight into 89 again. Cheetah, a born-free type story set in Kenya about an orphaned cheetah cub that is adopted and raised by an American family. With Keith Coogan, Lucy Deakins, she's from The Great Outdoors, and Colin Mathupi and Timothy Lanfield. So yeah, Keith Coogan. I've seen someone met him at one of the Comic Cons recently. Yeah, because he's related to Uncle Fester, yeah, from the Addams Family. Adventures of Babysitting, Don't Tell Mum the Babysitter's Dead. And what's the other ones he's done? The Fox and the Hound, Young Todd. Toy Soldiers, of course. There we go. That's why I recognise him most. I might get in touch with him. Right, then we get Shipwrecked. Where are we? Oh, it's 1986 from Disney. Okay, Mr. Boogedy. Let's look that up then. Is it a short or something? No, Bride of Boogedy. Does help if you type on the right keyboard, doesn't it? I'm sitting there hitting keys and nothing's happening. Hopefully my laptop's powerful not to kick off. Mr. Boogie. Oh, Mr. Boogie. How do you spell that? B-Boogedy. Don't see it. Boogedy? Yeah. I don't see it. It's not on IMDb. That's weird. I'll check that out later, Ben. Right, where are we? Shipwrecked. 1990 now. We're about to carry on for another few minutes at least. Young Norwegian boy in 1850 in England goes to work as a cabin boy and discovers some of his shipmates are actually pirates. Now that one does look familiar. Who's in that? Stian Smith, Gabriel Byrne, Louisa Millwood Hay, and Trond Peter Stamos Munch. Bride of Boogedy. Let's still have a look at that for Ben. White Fang. Here we go. So this is Ethan Hawke's early roles after Oh Captain, My Captain. Whatever that's called. So Jack London's classic adventure story, which has been done many times, about friendship developed between a Yukon gold hunter and a mixed dog wolf he rescues from the hands of a man who mistreats him. So yeah, Klaus Maria Bandara, Jed. Who's this Jed person they speak of? Let me check him out. Oh, it's the wolf, of course. There you go. That's why he's only got one name. It's not like Cher. That's why he's in Journey, Natty Gang, and White Fang. Nice. Trained wolf. Oh, he's in White Fang 2. Oh, uncredited. Spoilers then. Dead Kennedys the early years. Right, that makes a lot more sense. Okay, where are we? 1991. Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. Doesn't ring a bell, but it's got the lovely Gabrielle Anwar. If you want to see more of her, as in everything, it's Body Snatchers from 1991 or something. You see everything. But this one is thrilled by the performance she sees at a fair. So someone tries to land a spot as a daredevil who rides horses off of high dives. Steve Miner directed that. He of... What did we watch the other night? Halloween H2O and Friday the 13th Part 3 and 4, wasn't it? 2 and 3, sorry. And House. Warlock, yeah. Halloween H2O, Friday the 13th Part 2, there you go, and 3. That's on straight from those into a Hearts Can't Be Broken film. Here we go. Here's a good one. I definitely know this one. Rocketeer, 1991. A young pilot stumbles into a prototype jetpack, which allows him to become a high-flying masked hero. This is a fantastic film. I didn't get to see it in the cinemas, but I did catch it on VHS. So there's director Joe Johnston again, Billy Campbell, and Jennifer Connelly, of course, Anna, the late Alan Arkin, and Timothy Dalton as the bad guy. Spoilers. Dr. Impossible says... Ron Miller oversaw much of the darker period of Disney films. I think Miller was married to one of the Walt Disney's daughters. How Miller got pushed out in the mid-'80s. Yeah. Well, I guess it was for the best, even though his films were probably very good. They just weren't family-oriented. But then again, Rocketeer, yeah, bombed. So, yeah, they haven't seen much money apart from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in a few years. So they did a sequel. Oh, let's go back to Newsies, sorry. This one has a young Christian Bale, and it's a musical based in the New York City newsboy strike of 1899. Oh, yes, I remember that. When a young newspaper sellers are exploited beyond reason by their bosses, they set out to enact change and are met by ruthlessness of big business. Sounds familiar of something recent. It's got Bill Pullman, Robert Duvall, and Margaret. Hell of a cast. And it grossed $2 million. I'm guessing it cost more than that to make. Rocketeer is great. Thank you, Ben. Joe Johnston. Sorry, I said this. Thanks. Alan. Right. So, yeah, let's do a sequel. Yeah, which only grossed half what the original grossed. Must admit, I don't think I've seen the sequels. So, the Zelinskys are back. This time, a hilarious disaster strikes when an experiment causes their new toddler son to grow many stories tall. So, it's got Randall Kleiser, the director, who did Flight the Navigator. Hang on, sorry, who directed the first one then? Joe Johnston. There you go. So he was busy doing Rocketeer. Robert Larry and people I don't recognize in that one. Thank you. Honey and Jumanji. Thank you. I forgot about Jumanji. Is Honey? I didn't know you. Honey, is that the one with Jessica Alba? Is it, or is it someone else as the dancer? Who am I thinking of? Is it that one? The London Connection. This is one that's been brought up. Robert Clowes of Enter the Dragon. Hang on. Why have we jumped? I was going to say Robert Clowes. This is 1979, so not 1992, but we'll carry on. Family spy adventure sees secret agent Luther Starling hoping to have a vacation in England and visit his friend Roger. However, Professor is kidnapped by Omega and Luther is soon on the case, taking Roger with him. So it's got Jeffrey Byron, Roy Kinnear. And yeah, I don't know that one, but it doesn't look good. Oh, he did Honey, I Shouldn't Have Kids. I mean, thanks, Ben. Yeah, I see that now. Then we get The Mighty Ducks. I forgot what it was called in the UK. The first one wasn't called Mighty Ducks. Nos is back, and it was, this is the trouble with so many films with similar names. Deathstalker. That definitely did a couple of sequels. Dr. Impossible. Miller was replaced as chief executive by Michael Eisner, whom Mr. Miller had earlier tried to recruit to Disney. There was hell up back then. Oh dear. I can imagine so. Champions. Mighty Ducks was called Champions in the UK, and then of course it was a success. Even though it was only 50 million, but back then that was a lot. And they had to rename it Champions, also known as the Mighty Ducks, for the VHS release, and then the sequel was just called the Mighty Ducks 2, I think. So a self-centered, I don't think I've ever seen it as well. A self-centered Minnesota lawyer sentenced to community service, coaching a ragtag youth hockey team. It's got Emilio Estevez, Directed by Stephen Herrick. I think he did Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It's also got Lane Smith and Joss Ackland and Heidi Kling. I thought it was Heidi Klum for a minute, but here we go. We can't forget the Muppet Christmas Carol. Enough said. But that was not a financial success, as you can see. Probably barely broke even. So then we get Homeward Bound: Incredible Journey, which is a remake of the 60s version with Michael J. Fox, Sally Field, and others doing the voices. A fun-loving American bulldog pup, a hilarious Himalayan cat, and a wise old golden retriever embark on a long trek through the rugged wilderness of the Sierra Nevada mountains in the quest to reach home and their beloved owners. It was a big hit, yeah, they got 40 million. So it did all right. It's got some quotes. Right, but then they did A Far Off Place with Reese Witherspoon, Ethan Embry, who did, what did he do? Dutch and Vegas Vacation. Jack Thompson, Sarah Block. Oh, hang on, Dr. Impossible saying shareholder revolt at the failures, I bet. Well, that might happen again then, hopefully. I don't know why it's taking that long now, but Miller got a fine slap on the back when he left a $6 million paycheck. Yes, those golden parachutes all these executives get. So, A Face Far Off in 1903, when a gang of African poachers raid her family's farm, a young nonny visiting American teenager Harry Winslow and a local bushman guide must escape to the Kalahari Desert and reach the nearest town. Yeah, I didn't know that one. Adventures of Huck Finn, I knew that one only because Elijah Wood's in it. Courtney B. Vance, Robbie Coltrane, I did not know was in it, or Jason Robards. So this is the umpteenth version of Huck Finn. I used to watch the TV show, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. So it did the other way around. I always started with him painting a fence and tricking other people to paint it for him. Right, so in Missouri, during the 1840s, a young Huck Finn, fearful for his drunken father and yearning for adventure, leaves his foster family and joins the runaway slave, Jim, in a voyage down the Mississippi River towards slavery-filled states. Oh, yeah, see, that's directed by Stephen Sommers. I knew there was another reason. So he did, what's he do? The Mummy, G.I. Joe, and Deep Rising? I'm going to say. So then we get Hocus Pocus. So, yeah, this Kenny Ortega's been in a few. What was the last one? Not that one. There it is. Newsies. Van Helsing. Thank you, Ben. Yes. Stephen Sommers did. Also, that was his last big film. He did The Mummy Returns, I think, and then Van Helsing. Right, where do we get? Hocus Pocus. So, yeah, it's not. I've seen it a couple of times at the most. But a teenage boy named Max and his little sister move to Salem, where he struggles to fit in, awakening a trio of diabolical witches who were executed in the 17th century. Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy. And Omri Katz. Why does Omri Katz ring a bell? Is he the one from Erie, Indiana? Hocus Pocus. Oh, he's in Dallas. 149 episodes. And then Erie, Indiana, yeah. Only 19 episodes. That was a good show, that was. But he hasn't done much since. Right. So, yeah, here we go. Disney had a lot of successes in the 90s. 44 million for Hocus Pocus, even though 24 million is not bad for Huck Finn. Cool Runnings. So, yeah, 1.7 rating. Look at that. 1993, when a Jamaican sprinter is disqualified from the Olympic Games, he enlists the help of dishonored coach from start their first Jamaican bobsled team. Yeah, John Candy, Leon Dougie Doug, and Waldie Lewis. So, that's a good one. Three Musketeers. Who did the theme tune? Sting. Damn. There was three people doing the soundtrack. I know Sting was one of them. Brian something. I can't remember. But I saw this one in the cinema, The Three Musketeers, because it's got Charlie Sheen, Keith Sutherland, Chris O'Donnell, and Oliver Platt. So France, 1620. The young D'Artagnan heads to Paris to join the Musketeers, but the evil Colonel has disbanded them, save three. He meets the three, Athos, Porthos, and Aramis, and joins them on a quest to save king and country. Oh. Dr. Impossible is not keen on James Horner, but Rocketeer does have a fairly solid score. Captures the right genre for that one. Then we've got Iron Will, 94. This one, it's got Kevin Spacey, David Ogden Stiers, and Mackenzie Austin. A brave young man was thrust into adulthood when he and his courageous team of sled dogs embark on a grueling, treacherous cross-country marathon. I don't think I've seen it, but I haven't seen Blank Check either. But that did better. I did not know that was a Disney film, because it's got, who is it? No one I know. Karen Duffy? After a bike accident, a boy inadvertently gains possession of a check for $1 million and proceeds to spend it, unaware that gangsters it belongs to are in pursuit. But yeah, I remember seeing the poster and such, but... And there you go, D2, The Mighty Ducks. Emilio Estevez, Michael Tucker, I don't recognize his name, but they're back for more. And then there's White Thing 2. With a completely different cast. In order to rescue one of the last surviving Alaskan Native tribes, Fang joins in with a friend of his master to stop miners from destroying the ancient sacred land. Right, where are we? 94. Angels in the Outfield. No, it's not that actually. I always confuse that with the other one, where the kid gets the bowling arm, pitching arm, because of a broken arm accident. So, when a boy prays for a chance to have a family, if the California Angels win the pennant, angels are assigned to make that possible. Danny Glover, Brenda Fricker, Tony Danza, Christopher Lloyd. Got a good cast, and it did very well. But I don't think I've seen it. Rookie of the Year, thank you, Ben. I knew you'd help me with that one. That's one I do like, because that's got Gary Busey as the kid's mentor, of all people. Now, Squanto, A Warrior's Tale, Adam Breach, Mandy Patinkin, Sheldon Peters, Wolfchild. Fictional chronicle of Squanto's life prior to and including the arrival of the Mayflower in 1620. Okay. Something familiar about the name, but can't say I've seen it, and it bombed hard. Yeah, there we go. They made some money with this one. Santa Claus. This makes up for all the other failures. This is 1994, so what is that? Three films altogether now. When a man inadvertently makes Santa fall off his roof on Christmas Eve, he finds himself magically recruited to take his place. Tim Allen, Judge Reinhold, and etc. Okay, there. The beginning of the most successful Christmas trilogy of all time. There isn't many. Giving Tim Allen a good time. With his 1-800 Spank Me. The Jungle Book. So yeah, there's Stephen Sommers again. Doing another retelling of the Rudyard Kipling's book. But it's got Jason Scott Lee, Carrie Elwes, Lena Headey, and Sam Neill. But yeah, again, most of these I've not seen. I've seen after many years, not. Oh dear. Heavyweights. Here's a one right for remake. Plump kids are lured into joining the posh fat camp with the promise of a quick weight loss and good times, only to find out it's a woodland hellhole run by a psycho ex-fitness instructor. And it does have Ben Stiller in it, pre-fame. And then we get to sad times where the mighty Chevy Chase has fallen when he is in Man of the House 1995. A young boy refuses to accept his mother's new boyfriend, a lawyer, despite the man's attempts to win his respect. Meanwhile, the disgruntled relative of a criminal he prosecuted seeks revenge. It does have, Farrah Fawcett in it, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, and George Wendt. But it did quite well, 40 million. Compared to Heavyweights is 17. Oh, some from the creator of Mighty Ducks is Heather Weeks. Right, where do we get to? Tall Tale. Jeremiah Chekik. He did Christmas Vacation, I believe. So, Tall Tale. A young boy's imagination summons cowboy legend Pecos Bill, who helped save his family farm from a greedy land grabber. With the help of a lumberjack and a railroad worker, they embark on a surprise-filled adventure. Patrick Swayze is in that, of all people. Oliver Pratt, Roger Ehrenbaum and Nick Stahl. So I did not know that existed. We can hear the foxes fighting in the garden. Right, where we are. Almost to the 90s. And then that'll do. Operation Dumbo Drop. So yeah, this has got Danny Glover again. Ray Liotta, Dennis Leary, and Dougie Doug. So, hey, Terrence, how are you? Now, I know Terrence likes Disney films. He's the one that gave me the lovely Condor Man film on VHS. It was very kind of him. So Operation Dumbo Drop. I've never seen this. I've got it on X Rental. To keep the loyalty of a village during a Vietnam War, a U.S. Army officer and his unit struggle to deliver a live elephant. The fact it's got Dennis Leary, Danny, and Ray Liotta in gives me some curiosity. So Kid in King Arthur's Court is another baseball kid film of 95. A Little League player sent back to medieval times where he's given the task of saving Camelot. So yeah, there's Thomas Ian Nicholas. Wasn't he in Rookie of the Year then? Another one with Joss Ackland, Art Malik. But yeah, it's another twist on the Spaceman in King Arthur, and then Black Knight and all sorts. So we get to The Big Green. A teacher on exchange from London is placed in an underachieving Texas school where she coaches the students in soccer, improving their self-esteem and leading to unexpected success. It's got Steve Guttenberg, Olivia DeBow, J.O. Sanders, and John Terry. Hang on, the John Terry footballer, is that? Oh, another Huckleberry Finn adventure with Peter Hewitt, who he was an actor from a TV show in the UK called Bread, and then he directed, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, I believe. So, two best mates witness a murder and embark on a series of adventures in order to prove the innocence of a man wrongly accused of crime. Jonathan Taylor Thomas, who was in, what was he in just a minute ago? Man of the House, not Brad Ruffino, Charles Rocket, and Emma Shaw. Yeah, he was the American Pie, probably not on this list. And as weird as some of these stories are, American Pie is not a Disney film. Muppet Treasure Island with Tim Curry, Bill Connolly, Jennifer Saunders, and Kevin Bishop. The Muppets set sail in search of treasure. And then we get Homeward Bound 2. And I've still got Sally Field, Michael J. Fox, Ralph Waite, and Al Nichols. Terrence, wonder what will happen next in the Mouse House. Apple takeover, maybe. Well, yeah, it's been rumored, has it? Because the value is dropping like a rock. They haven't done anything of note. I don't know if you can hear the foxes shouting in the garden. Homeward Bound 2, Lost in San Francisco. So how can the same shit happen to the same pets twice? When adventurous pets, Chance, Shadow, and Sassy are accidentally separated from their vacation humans, they're left to fend for themselves on the mean streets of San Francisco, searching for the golden bridge that will take them home. David R. Ellis. Why is that sound very familiar? He did. There you go. What's he done? So he was an actor in the Disney films. Matrix Reloaded, director of Shark Night 3D, Snakes on the Plane, that's what he is, and Cellular. Try and remember that one. Then we get, The First Kid. A former boxer turned Secret Service agent is assigned to protect the present son, who he seems determined to make his life difficult for his new protector, Sinbad and Timothy Busfield. Apple seems to be bigger on streaming. Although with the losses of their Lord of the Rings, will they be able to afford it? Amazing amount of original movies they spoke, because I've only done, 30 years of hanging out to, and there's, where are we, 100? Yeah, there's at least 100 films, and these are just the live action ones. They were doing, in the 70s, they were doing 3 or 4 minimum. So then we get to D3, The Mighty Ducks, so who's back? Emilio Estevez is back, I think a few of the others. Terrence says, sell Lucasfilm to Troma. Oof. That's what I want, effed up Star Wars. Can you imagine it? Probably make a profit because it would be filmed for $1,000. The unruly team of hockey misfits grows a bit and receives scholarships in a prestigious prep school where they take on the snotty varsity team. Right, 101 Dalmatians, yes. Remake of the live action with Glenn Close. That Darn Cat. So we got Christina Ricci. Is that Bob Spears from the UK? Yes, Fawlty Towers, Spice World. Unfortunately, he's passed away. But yeah, Christina Ricci, Dougie Doak, and Dane Jones. All right, I'm going to blast through these now. Jungle's a Jungle. So yeah, trying to recap the success. That did quite well. That's got Tim Allen, Martin Short, Jo Beth Williams, and Luther Davidge. Yeah, 70s and 80s were certainly beta testing times. A lot of that stuff is being re-released on HD now, which is nice. So I get to see it because I missed it at the time. Jungle to Jungle and George of the Jungle the same year. Yeah, that did very well. I remember that. Brendan Fraser, Leslie Mann, Thomas Hayden Church, and Richard Roundtree. Oh, and then we get the first of the Air Bud films, 97. And that was directed by Charles Martin Smith. So there we go. With Michael Jeter. I don't know any of those. Rocket Man. Ugh, I remember seeing the trailers for that. I never watched it because was it Harlan Williams who had his 50 minutes of fame. More Robin Williams in Flubber, the remake of The Absent-Minded Professor. Who was in that? Marcia Gay Holden, Kristen McDonald, Ted Levine. Then you got the remake Mr. Magoo. So hang on, a lot of remakes here. But yeah, Leslie Nielsen, Kelly Lynch. I never saw that one. Meet the Deedles with Paul Walker. Don't know that one. Two surfers end up as Yellowstone Park Rangers and have to stop a former ranger who's out for revenge. There's the remake of The Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan twice and Dennis Quaid and Natasha Richardson. Directed by Nancy Myers. Was it Sleepless in Seattle? I'll Be Home for Christmas, oh dear. Jonathan Taylor Thomas again. Jessica Biel. And Gary Cole. I'll Be Home for Christmas, 98. Mighty Joe Young. More remakes in the late 90s. Yeah, that swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Bill Paxton, Charlize Theron. My Favorite Martian, Donald Petrie. Hang on, was that K9? This rings a bell. Is he still with us? Yes. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Miss Congeniality, Grumpy Old Man, Mystic Pizza. I thought there was something else. Let me go back a sec. Of course, it's not another. Oh, he did episodes of The Equalizer. Richie Rich. There. Turner and Hooch. I knew it was a dog-based one. Right. And was that Disney? That was Touchstone, so almost. Endurance. Don't know that one. Looks more like a biography. Then Inspector Gadget, popular cartoon turned into a very poor film that got a sequel. Now, who'd have thought David Lynch made a Disney film? It's an awesome story. It's a new certificate, and it's about an old man makes a long journey by lawnmower to mend his relationship with his ill brother. So yeah, of all the films we mentioned, go see that one. The Kid. Oh yes, Bruce Willis. Well, we'll stop at 2000, but yeah, it's got a 6.1. But what's it? Yeah, an unhappy and disliked image consultant gets a second thought in life when he is mysteriously confronted by an 8-year-old version of himself. Remember the Titans? I did not know that was a Disney film. 102 Dalmatians, The Princess Diaries, and The Snow Dogs. Yeah, this is where it goes on and off with different things. Right, I'm going to leave it there for tonight. So, just over an hour, that'll do it. So, thanks for staying with me, everyone. Terence, Ben Grin, Dr. Impossible, Loss, Hero Waffles, and everyone else. And I am back Sunday night with Condor Man Watch Party. So, that should be fun. Do enjoy that film. So, for now, I will wish you adieu to you and you. And have a good evening. Enjoy your weekend.